Alright, May 31st and June 1st, over 2 days at the Inspire Entertainment Resort in Incheon, Weverse brought together some of the best and most popular artists in K-pop for the 2025 Weverse Con Festival. From established global headliners to fast-rising rookies, every performance I thought had its own tone, direction, and message. And of all the artists who performed, 7 groups were from HYBE, and I'm gonna go over each of them in this video. Some groups teased new albums, others debuted unreleased tracks, and a few pulled off festival-style live sets that could easily headline anywhere in the world, I think. So here's a full breakdown of each group's performance, what stood out, what shifted, and what's coming up next. Alright? May 31st, day 1. ILLIT returned for the second Weverse Con, looking more confident and assured. They opened with a playful tic-tac and moved through IYKYK, if you know you know, and I Like You, and kept the crowd very engaged throughout their 6-song set. Their vocals were more solid, their presence more relaxed compared to last year, like they had grown into the stage, if you know what I mean. In terms of the crowd response, Almond Chocolate stood out thanks to Wonhee's clean high note that got an instant reaction from the crowd. And their connection with the audience was very obvious, making eye contact, moving across the stage, feeding off the energy. They also previewed the choreography for Do the Dance, which is a title track for their upcoming mini album, Bomb. Then came the surprise, which was a teaser video of the 5 silhouetted members lit up the screen, catching fans off guard in the best way. Also, their cover of BoA's ID Peace D added a nostalgic but fresh twist to their set. As you know, BoA was this year's tribute artist, and the Y2K styling and clean execution showed they could carry a concept without losing their identity. Alright, and next up, ILLIT's third mini album, Bomb, drops on June 16th, and they will meet fans at their first fan concert, ILLIT Glitter Day in Seoul on June 7th and June 8th at Olympic Hall. Alright, next up, BOYNEXTDOOR, aka BOYNEXTDOOR or BND. So BOYNEXTDOOR headlined the first night of the outdoor Weverse Park night stage, and it was a good call, I think, with a live band behind them. They leaned into a festival vibe that suited them very well. Songs like I Feel Good and Nice Guy hit harder, more textured and alive. The highlight, once again, in terms of crowd reaction was 오늘만 I Love You, when the crowd took over and sang the chorus like a chant. It didn't feel planned, it just happened naturally. That song was very popular in Korea, and the 6 members didn't try to dominate the stage. They moved freely, interacting with the audience like they were part of the same moment. They also marked their second debut anniversary that day. The timing added weight to their closing set, which they wrapped with the surprise encore of 오늘만 I Love You after fans wouldn't stop chanting for more. It was pretty simple but memorable. With solo concerts coming up, BOYNEXTDOOR concerts coming up, and Lollapalooza Chicago on the calendar, this performance felt like a turning point. And what's next? BOYNEXTDOOR heads to Tokyo for a solo concert June 28th, June 29th, and June 30th, followed by a Seoul show July 25th to 27th. They also hit the Lollapalooza stage in Chicago this August. Alright, next up, ENHYPEN. They took over the indoor stage to close out day 1, and the vibe immediately shifted. From the first note of Future Perfect past the mic, it felt more like a full production than just a set. They performed all 15 songs with the live band, which gave songs like Daydream, Moonstrike, and Bite Me a heavier edge. The dance breaks added to the drama, and the transitions between tracks were tight. And one of the highlights was Mora, performed live for the first time. And it's not flashy, it was moody and controlled, but I think they nailed the tone. Then midway through the set, they teased Bad Desire, With or Without You, with a bit of the choreography, just enough to stir curiosity, no overhyping. And there wasn't much small talk, they just let the performance speak, and that worked in their favor. And as you know, ENHYPEN's 6-minute album, Desire Unleash, drops June 5th with an online and offline fan showcase that same evening. Alright? Alright. And then let's talk about day 2, June 1st. N-Team took center stage as headliners of the second night of Weverse Park Night. They set the tone right away with War Cry. The weather was pretty cool that day. The sky had just darkened, and their entrance built just the right amount of tension. The 14-song set, it was a mix of aggressive energy and precision. Like songs like Going Blind and Run Wild were tight and loud, but they also balanced that with moments like Samidare that slowed the pace without losing the mood. Their vocals held steady even during complex choreography. They added in a unit dance and pulled it off without interrupting the overall flow. It's the kind of thing that could feel like a break, but here it worked as a mid-set push, so to say. The members also shared how performing under the stars had been a dream of theirs, and the way the crowd responded, especially during the final track, Firework, showed that the feeling was pretty mutual. Also, N-Team continues their Asia tour with Seoul concerts on June 6th to June 7th at Jamsil Indoor Gymnasium. Alright, next up, TOUS, or TWS. Their sets felt like a shot of energy. They ran through 6 songs, starting with Countdown and hitting standout moments with Fire Confetti, I love that track, and Lucky to Be Loved, which was my favorite track from their latest album. Every move felt deliberate but not forced, and their vocals were pretty consistent. Their fanbase, SSERAFIM, made their presence known with loud chants and a blue wave of light sticks. The atmosphere was pretty upbeat and connected. Now, a smart choice was their cover of BoA, this year's tribute artist, BoA's Amazing Kiss. They didn't just copy it, they reinterpreted it, so to say. Softer vocals and a dreamy tone, but still with a tighter movement and clarity that they're becoming known for, that this group is becoming known for. They even showed up to an earlier dance event, unannounced, to teach choreography, and that kind of off-script presence, I feel like, helps build a real fan relationship, Also, TWS will hold their first solo concert in Seoul from June 20th to June 22nd, then begin a 13-show Japanese arena tour across 6 cities starting in July. Now, SSERAFIM, they didn't just perform, they took over. From crazy and chasing lightning to hot and come over. Their sets had range but never dipped in energy. Their stage presence felt completely dialed in, like they knew exactly what kind of atmosphere they wanted. The crowd responded immediately. It wasn't just about the songs, it was how they performed them, sharp, grounded, confident. It's too unfortunate that Yunjin wasn't able to make it due to her injury. But they also brought up their new Japanese single, Different, which is gonna be released June 24th. And they leaned into their summer group identity, but didn't make it feel like a gimmick. It really fits. And they closed with a string of hits like Eve Pushke and what was it? 푸른 수염 안에, the Bluebeard's wife, and Unforgiven and Antifragile, and that had fans shouting every lyric. And their confidence showed not just in the performance, but in the pacing. It was clean, focused, and felt like a group that knows what they're doing. And I was able to see how they have grown so much, especially as they have been, executing their, world tour, right? And that really adds growth momentum to a group. Now, after finishing their Nagoya and Osaka shows, in Japan, SSERAFIM continues their world tour in Kita, Kyushu from June 7th to June 8th, and Saitama, June 12th and June 14th to 15th, followed by shows across Asia and North America. Now, last but not least, TXT, or Tomorrow By Together, they closed the entire festival for the 3rd year running. If there was pressure, you wouldn't know it. The 5 members delivered a 17-song set that mixed high-energy tracks with solo and unit stages that gave each person a moment to stand out. They opened with Over the Moon. Over the Moon. Oh, sorry, that was... They opened with Over the Moon, then hit harder with band versions of how do you love song, 0 × 1 = love song, and a metal rock remix of Deja Vu. I love that track. It kept things moving and gave longtime fans something new. Is Bumgyu solo, Panic, which I have reacted to on my channel. It was a standout, actually. His live guitar added weight, and the performance felt very personal. That track itself is a very personal track, as I've observed. And unit tracks like The Killa and Quarter Life, I love these 2 tracks. They broke things up nicely without slowing the pace. And they didn't really need a concept or elaborate storyline with this performance. They just played well, performed better, and closed the weekend with the kind of clarity only experience can bring. And I feel like their strength wasn't just in execution. It was in knowing how to make a set feel like a full experience. Now, TXT recently wrapped their EP2 World Tour, covering 13 cities, including stops in Europe. No official comeback news yet, especially because they recently dropped their new song, latest track, Love Language, but momentum is clearly building. Alright, so to wrap up, as a final note, I feel like this year's Weverse Con, 2025 Weverse Con Festival worked well because each group brought something distinct. ILLIT, for example, showed growth. TWS showed potential. N-Team and ENHYPEN proved their stability. BOYNEXTDOOR connected. SSERAFIM owned their identity. And Tomorrow By Together wrapped it all with confidence. It was super tight. It was varied. And it said a lot about where HYBE's lineup is headed. As a fan, I felt really good, and we'll see what the next year's Weverse Con Festival will bring. All right, leave your comments by sharing what you felt about the festival concert, Weverse Con. If you have watched it or if you were actually there. All right, what was your favorite act? What was your favorite moment? Please share your memories. All right, peace and love. Bye-bye.